Please help me invite Kate Nicole Allender into the spotlight. Kate is an artist who spends her free time creating art in her studio, sending mail art to other artists all over the world, collaborating on projects with other brilliant minds in the art community, and of course, going on plenty of wonderful adventures with her friends. Kate's story is titled, A Second Chance at Life.
Hello. Focal nodular hyperplasia. That's the word that starts my story, and the word that changed my life. So what is this big, intimidating word? It's a benign tumor of the liver, and it rarely grows or bleeds and has no malignant potential. It's usually found in older age women and isn't removed. Mine, however, became a special case. 2012 was the year it was found in my liver. After months of severe abdominal pain and discomfort, one day, the day after Valentine's Day, I ended up in the ER. I was only 15. When the tumor was found, it was the size of a softball, which is pretty massive for a kid who's just under 5 feet and only about 80 pounds. The doctor told me there was no specific reason I got the tumor, and it was just something I'd have to live with. Being a freshman in high school and having a massive tumor in me made me feel so different from my peers. While my friends were running around in PE class, I was on the bleachers trying not to think about the raging pain in my side. While my friends were doing sports, I was having to avoid physical contact, and while my peers enjoyed school dances, I was lucky if I could manage to dance through one song before the tumor was causing pain and required me to go sit down and pop some more Advil. I was young, irritable, and pissed off about it, but I still persevered and took everything head on. Fast forward to 2013. After being stuck with a tumor in me for a year straight, I was finally given a choice. I could undergo surgery to have the softball-sized mass removed. Of course, I chose what I wanted, and I wanted it out. The surgery was supposed to go like this: 4 to 6 hours in length, 2 incisions in the right side of my torso that would be sewn up with cotton stitching, and I'd wake up in a hospital room with a few IVs in me. That's how it was said to go, but it went as far as opposite from that could have been. Complications occurred during the operation. A vein was left clamped for too long in my side and it burst. My life was suddenly in critical condition and things weren't going in my favor. 50 orders of blood products, 28 units of blood, 1 extra incision, 10 minutes of CPR, and 1 code blue later, it was over. I was a new person. I woke up that night in intensive care with much confusion. The doctors had attempted to sedate me and keep me in a medically induced coma, but I woke up. Instead of cotton stitching, I had over 60 metal staples in my body. Instead of a few IVs, I had an epidural in my neck and a catheter. I was on a respirator. I had tubes coming up my nose and throat. A Blake tube blood drain was what scared me the most, and an extra incision coming up my chest. Dying was indeed a traumatic event. So traumatic, in fact, that I wasn't told about it until 3 weeks after. I was told, don't dwell on it by my surgeon. And now this is where the mental health issues start bubbling to the surface. I'd always struggled with some issues of having depression, but my new mindset after death was something completely different. I felt higher than high in life because I knew I was a second chance, but at the same time, I was feeling lower than low. I didn't know why. I was breaking down on the daily, but I thought it was normal. I put all the blame on, I died, of course I should feel different. Everyone who was close to me saw the changes as well. I was overly irritated, irrational, reckless, rude. I was a whole new person, but not in a good way. I started abusing drugs. I was high all the time. I drank too much and not care. I picked up the slippery slope of addiction that goes along with cigarettes. I was impulsively dyeing my hair weird colors to the point where it nearly fell out. I spent all my money. I was rude. I yelled at my friends. I pushed everyone away who had ever cared about me. Things were on a downward spiral. I didn't know how to hold on much longer. I went from being a student in college in good standing to failing out of college. I went from having a job to being unemployed. Nothing was right anymore, until I was finally stopped in my tracks. November of 2016, on election day, things got way worse, and I didn't even know what was going on anymore. That's how little I cared. This was the day my mom saved me from myself. I was unaware of what a manic episode was at the time, but apparently that's what was happening to me. I was a burning ball of manic rage. My mom told me she was taking me to a doctor's appointment. I got in the car. I didn't bother asking questions. I just went along with it. That night, I ended up in the ER at Lutheran Hospital. I thought the entire thing was a joke. This was the night, though, I learned everything and why I felt the way I felt. Turns out I not only had depression, but along the way I acquired PTSD, bipolar, and borderline personality disorder. Everything finally made sense, and I was put on a road to recovery. I was finally put on medications for what was wrong with me. I spent the next 4 days inpatient doing group therapy and getting my medications regulated, and when I left the hospital this time, it was for the better. I was a new person, but in a way I loved. Things changed. I found a passion for life again. I rediscovered my love for art, adventures, and my friends, and everything felt right in the world again. Things may get worse before they get better, but I'm glad I stuck around to see things get better.